Straighten up now. Straighten up now. Tell me, do you really want to love me forever? Oh, oh, oh. We'll be singing, was that Paula Abdul? We're going to be singing Paula Abdul before the night's over. I don't think that's Paula Abdul, but y'all will let me know in the comments, won't you? You'll be like, Cody, no, it's not Paula Abdul, that's Mariah Carey or whoever it is. I don't know. In the immortal words of Aaron Tippin, guys, the wipers don't work, the horn don't blow, but there ain't nothing wrong with his radio. He needs a carburetor, set of plug wires. He driving me around. I got 4 new tires. But anyways, Danny does not have a radio. There's an old radio in there, but it ain't no good, I don't think. So today I thought I would do something with y'all that just about anybody should be able to enjoy. Is we're going to install a radio and a set of speakers. So let's have some fun, and let's do it on a budget. Let's do it. It's pretty cheap. About anybody could afford to do this. If you got any kind of rig that don't have a radio, this will probably work for you. So let's get to it. So guys, I'm trying to do this as economical as possible and without a whole bunch of tools. So I just went by a local big box store, parts store, and got this stuff. And while we absolutely love Stinger audio solutions and audio control for most of the stuff we do, I wanted to do something in Danny because I haven't made my mind up if I'm going to keep Danny forever or just drive him for a little while and then pass him on to one of you guys. And if I do that, I just want some sound in there besides just talking to myself, because sometimes, I just don't want to have an intelligent conversation. I just want to listen to the radio. So what I did is I just got me, this is just a Bluetooth radio. This thing was $39. I think that's correct. It's about 39 bucks. Some speaker wire. I got a little bit of this flex stuff right here. What do you ever call that? That wire conduit, because I like to run the speaker wires through that. And then this thing right here is 2 speakers, some tweeters. I don't know what all's in there, guys. I don't know. It's going to make noise. $54. So for right at $100, we're going to have a sound system in Danny here. The other couple other things you're going to need is some wire strippers and a crimper tool. I like to heat shrink stuff, and then some little connectors. So, and a heat gun. So the first thing I'm going to do though is I've been noticing a little odor from Danny now that it's starting to warm up. And it's probably been 15 or 20 years since he's been vacuumed out. So the first thing I'm going to do is grab a vacuum. I'm going to vacuum under the seats, behind the seat, in the floorboard, because I'm going to be wallering around in there. I know there's some broken glass in there too. So I want to get all that done, and then we'll get started on the install. So, all right. I've been noticing a little bit of an odor in Danny, like a dead mouse kind of odor. So maybe we'll find it while we're doing this. And that's probably a rat nest. So I want to be careful not to just grab and start jerking, because that's a bunch of broken glass right there, and I know what some of y'all are saying. Please, for the love of God, put on some gloves, man. But I'm just not a glove wearer, y'all. It ain't how I roll. It ain't how I roll, guys. All right. So one of the things I've noticed about old Danny is it's got this old, I think this thing is a Jensen is what it says. Let's see if we can, I don't know if it's actually locked in there like it's supposed to be. They should make a tool that makes this thing pop off. We don't have that today. But maybe that, at least it's holding. We got some wires hanging down here that aren't connected to anything. Oh, we got this guy going over here. Let's see. Where does this, I know we don't have any speakers. Y'all ain't gonna believe this. Look at this. Six by 9 shoved up under the dash in there. Sony, the good stuff. I don't really know if that's good or not. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is get this pulled out. If I can get this pulled out, then we'll go to work on getting our radios put in there. We were able to, I ended up having to take part of the dash out, the little bezel here out. And let me show you what we're working with. So, square body pickups did not come with these, what they call a single DIN, or these little square radios like this. That's not what they came with. That thing's trash. What should be in here is, there should have just been 2 holes right here for your knobs. And then when they changed the way the radios came, they made these little square deals that are made to slide up in there, and then you bend these little ears to hold them in so that they don't fall on through and everything like that. Well, this one has not been installed correctly. It's just it's a mess. So, and it looks like they've cut out a little more of the dash than they should have. So we're just going to make it work, because we're not trying to redo the whole sound system. We're just trying to get it where we got some noise. All right, guys, so I went and grabbed a test light so we could check some stuff. And the other thing I did is, if y'all aren't familiar, when we rebuilt Clancy's square body, one of the things we did was we completely rewired his entire truck from the headlights to the taillights. And we used an American Auto wire wiring harness for that. So I kept the manual for that, because they kept the same colors in their wiring harness that GM used, for the most part, that GM used. So what I'm going to do is check these wires, because the more I've thought about it, all your radios now are going to have like 4 wires run to them. You're going to have a ground, a light that makes the light come on when you turn your headlights on. You're going to have a constant hot to keep your memory on your radio, and you're going to have just a battery one that when you turn the key on, a 12-volt ignition, that it turns the radio on when you turn the key on. These old trucks, since nothing was digital, they only had 3 wires on most of them. More than likely, you had a light that came on, your ground, and then just the battery, because when you turn the 12-volt keyed ignition, so when you turned it on, the radio came on. Because those old radios, you didn't have to program them. It wasn't a digital program. You spun your knob to get it to the spot, and then you saved it, and it saved that position with your button. And, you know, most of your clocks were they weren't digital. So, all right, so first thing let's do is, I'm thinking this yellow wire that was hanging out right here is actually going to be the battery. So, if it is, the key's off right now. I don't know if y'all can see this test light. No light. We turn it on. Okay, so we're getting 12-volt power right there. It's wiggling, but that means that when we turn the key on, it's going to give power to the battery, to the radio right there. Turn it off, and it's off. Okay. Now then, we got a ground wire in here, and then this gray wire that's left should be for the lights. So when we turn the headlights on, I don't know if y'all can see it in there. Get your big hand out of the way, dummy. Let's see. There we go. Y'all see that? So headlights on, off, on, off. So we got everything we need here. We just need to hook it all up better. So let me grab our little wiring harness, and we'll get that thing. We're going to do most of it out there, where all we got to do is just make a few connections under here. When we open our radio up here, inside we've got just basically, this is going to plug in to your radio, and then you've got all these tails here that do your radio, your controls and everything. So these are all of our power wires here. The blue, the black, the yellow, and the red. These are your speakers, you know, left front, right front. I mean, I'm not calling out the right names, but you got left and right, front and rear. So you got four speakers you can run off of that. So, yeah. So we'll get this figured out real quick. We're going to cut these all off pretty well even with each other. And then I'm going to go ahead and put ends on this side. That way we'll be ready to go. And then all we got to do is get under there, under the dash, make a couple of connections, and we'll be done. We'll be ready to go. So, okay, so I just stripped them ends off like such. And then what I like to do, like at Harbor Freight or something, you can buy, I might even order these on Amazon. You can get these little barrels here. Twist that guy up. We're going to slide him on here like this. We got that stripped. Yep, good enough. Run that on there. And these are just some cheap old crimpers. And you can do soldering and all that, but this is going to last forever, because what we're going to do is when we put this under there, we're going to put a piece of heat shrink on it, and then when we heat shrink it, we don't ever have to worry about it touching anything, connecting anything. It'll just be there like it's supposed to. We've got those guys out of the way. So, all right, we got our positive and our negatives right here for our rear speakers. I'm going to run us out. I'm going to use this 18 gauge, which is probably too heavy. Yeah, it's okay though. We're not going to judge anybody on the size of our speaker wire. But we got to run a left and a right back there. So I'm going to go right out the center of the dash and to the back, but I'm going to get out about, I'm going to say, because I don't know exactly, I'm going to get out about 10 foot. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to say I'm right at 6 foot tall. So if I do a full arm's width is about 6. And then from about my nose, maybe my ear over here and back over, that's going to be pretty close. That's probably way more than we need. We're going to call the copper wire the positive, the ground, and then this aluminum looking wire, which I know that's probably not right either, we're going to call it our positive. So when we look at these, there's two different colors. We're going to call this kind of silver colored wire our positive wire. We're going to call the copper colored wire our ground wire. And then we're going to hook it up just like we did our other deal. We're going to strip us off some wire, and we're going to put us a good connection on it, and we're going to be done with it, because that's the way we roll around here. All right, guys, so I've got everything hooked up. I've got my little harness hooked up to go into the truck here. And when you look at it here, you're going to say, now, Cody, why in the world did you do that? Why do you have the yellow hooked up to the red? Well, in this wiring harness, this red wire right here, this yellow wire coming from the harness, is your 12-volt constant power. So I'm going to run this over and grab a spot under the dash that'll provide 12 volts of constant power all the time. The red wire on here, I'm going to connect to the yellow wire that's inside the truck, and that wire is a keyed ignition. So when you turn the key on, that's going to tell the radio to come on. We're going to hook it up here, and then we've got our black wire that hooks up as a ground. We got that done. We've got these ends of the speakers that we're not using taped off, and then we've got our two speaker wires. So one thing I'm going to do right here is we're going to put these speaker wires in a little loom. You don't have to do that, but I like to do it because we're we're going to run it on the floorboard, and there's some spots there where it's not going to be, may not be covered, and I don't want it rubbing a wire, rubbing into or anything. So if we look here, on the radio, it tells us purple is the right, and purple is the right, and gray or green is the left. Green is the left, purple is the right. So what I'm going to do right here is I'm going to come down here, and I'm just going to put a piece of tape on the end of this one that goes on the right. And we'll know that when we get to the back of when we get back there and we get ready to hook the speakers up, that this wire goes to the right hand side. And then I'm going to take, and I'm going to put my little loom tool on here. I think this came with a little wiring set we got, you know, I think we bought some loom or something to work on Clancy's truck. And this little tool came with it, and I'm like, we got it, we might as well use it. I'm going to put all of this loom on, even though we're not going to use it all, but it'll just make it, it'll make it easy to run. And when we get down there and see, okay, this is where we need to be, this is exactly where we got to go, we can be like, okay, that looks good. Let's cut that off right there, and then whatever's left over we'll have to use on another project some other place. Come on, get in here, guys. All right, so we got that all in there. Then the last thing I think there is to do is just to kind of protect everything a little bit more. Right here where this comes out of this harness, I'm going to put me a little tape on this right here to hold that loom in place and keep it from wanting to slide. Keeps everything protected like we want it. Gives it a professional look maybe, I don't know. What do y'all think? Probably don't have to do this. Now then, we're going to take this existing plug, we're going to go ahead and cut it out. Ground, dash light. We're not going to use the dash light wire, but we are, however, going to use this yellow wire, which remember we talked about is going to be, it's a key, it comes on when the key comes on, so it's should go to our red wire, key ignition 12 volt AC. So, come on stuff, get out of the way. So red wire here, we're going to slide us a piece of heat shrink on so that when we make our connection we don't have to worry about anything being in the wrong spot, burning anything up. Red to yellow, which I don't like doing that, but that's what it calls for. So let me put that in here first. It'll make it easier. The wind's really a-blowing tonight, guys. And I just shot a skunk, and it's blowing right at me from that skunk direction. Not really digging that. Okay, so we got that guy on there. I'm going to go ahead and heat shrink him and have him done. All right. Then we're going to strip the ground wire off right here. Maybe a little bit more right there. Run us a piece of heat shrink up over it to there. Then we're going to take this black wire here, Hook him up. Come on now. So this is a easy way for anybody, whether you're a kid or an adult, to get sound in your vehicle. Now then, that's good right there. Now then, this is for the remote, which we're probably not going to use. We're going to run this wire over under the dash over here and find us a spot to plug it in. So I'll probably go ahead and do that. I need to put a little piece of heat shrink on the end of this dash wire, because when you turn that on, it could flop around and hit something and end up catching something on fire. So, not catching on fire, but shorting out a fuse. So let's just put a little piece of heat shrink on the end of it, shrink it up. Then if we ever decide to do something different, we got it taken care of easily. So that's shrunk onto the end just a little bit. So everything's protected. We don't have to worry about it. Okay. Now then, the goal is to take this wire, route it over to the fuse block, and then take these speaker wires and go down and come along. The best way I think to route it would be to come over here and go down the passenger side under that floor mat. I don't know how easy that's going to be, because that thing's pretty brittle, and if we go to moving it very much, it's liable to tear it up. So what I may do, just for now, till I end up replacing the floor mat, is this is already raised up. I may just kind of raise it up and tuck it under here on the driver's side, because I just want to run it under the seat, because the speaker I want to sit kind of right in the middle back here. So let's get that all run through there and out of the way so that we know where we're going to go with everything. Then we'll work on getting everything else set up. So give me just a second. Let me do some looking under here to route my wires, and then we'll be ready to go, guys. Ready to get some tunes blaring, maybe. Need you to stick in there. Be right back. So we got that speaker, that wire's run behind the AC vent, and I'm going to just very gently, if I can, pick this floor mat stuff up. There's the wire that goes to the four-wheel drive light. We're going to just tuck it up under there like that. I mean, that's pretty high, isn't it? Maybe when we get that on to the back, it won't look as bad, maybe. Okay, let me see if I can find that from the back here now. Because our speaker is going to sit right here. So not quite as tucked away under there as I'd like it to be, but it's okay. Well, guys, in true, just like working on anything, you know, part of the fun is trying to fix all the stuff that everybody else has screwed up. Like, I didn't film all of it because it was just kind of a big pain, but whoever put this radio in originally, they did some stuff that was just janky. You know what I mean? They didn't cut the slot in the hole. They didn't cut the dash out in the right spot. And they just had stuff bent back where the dash wouldn't even connect. And, you know, that turned into, well, this should have very easily, you know, maybe take this bezel out. But I had to take this bezel out, and then, you know what that turns into? It's like, well, I got this bezel out. Let's go ahead and clean the instrument cluster. And while we're doing that, so let's try to fix the lights. If we were going to have it tore out, let's go ahead and fix the lights. So I got all the lights fixed on the dash here, on the instrument cluster. Got the holes straightened up. Had to get the grinder out and all kinds of little old stuff like that. So I got all that kind of straightened up and cleaned up. It's not the way I would really want it to look, but I think it's going to work. So if I reach in here, I should be able to find, here's our plug now. I got my wires routed back over there. What I'm hoping is if we plug this thing in right here, we ought to be able to turn this thing on and it should power up, I believe. Why are you not plugging in right there? That's supposed to plug in to you. Okay. So, here's the top. And now then, why are you not coming on? Maybe it's because I don't have that. Oh, I bet I don't have enough juice. Let me hook this other wire up right quick. And it looks like I got a renter texting that there's something going on with one of the rent houses. So I'll be back. Well, guys, we've got everything hooked up there except for the antenna. It wasn't long enough to make it to the new radio, so I have to get a little extension. But I think I'm just going to use like Bluetooth and just use my phone to run this. So what we're going to do now is we ran these wires back here. So we're going to just split these off a little bit. And the way this thing works back here, I'm going to kind of tilt y'all down here so y'all can see, is we've got our radio here, our speaker here, and we've got a left and a right. And then all we got to do is strip these wires off, stick them in there. Red's going to be the positive, black's going to be the ground. And we should be able to turn it on and give ourselves some volume. So if I remember right, we said violet or purple was right. Isn't that what we said? I think so. That's what we're going to call it anyway. So take our wire strippers here and we'll strip us off some wire. There we go. And all right, we got those locked in. Let's do that over here on this side. Get that tape off of there. Split this open. I'm out here. Everybody else has already gone to bed for the night. I believe, anyways. I know one thing, there's nobody out here helping. So, all right. Wire's kind of, this speaker wire is tiny little old junk, you know it? Okay, guys, we got everybody hooked up. We're gonna run that back and hopefully, I think it's probably going to need to sit right there. Everything works. When I turn the key on, it should come on. Welcome. $40 is the max, but y'all hear we got noise. Let's see if we can connect a Bluetooth to it. Or let's just throw the phone in the floor. That's good. All right. There's a mode. Not paired. Bluetooth. Bluetooth settings. This is a dual. Let's try that. PIN number. Y'all ain't ever gonna believe it, but the password or the PIN number is 1234. So if you get one of these dual media players and it asks you for a PIN number, try 1234 or 0000. But 1234 works. So, all right, well, y'all aren't gonna be able to listen to it because YouTube won't let me put sound on here. So I'm gonna try it, and then maybe we'll overlay something else. I don't know, but let's see. Maybe I can turn it down real low and y'all can't hear it, but I can. I can hear it. Maybe not. Maybe that's just my. Let me find something to listen to first. How about some Hardy? Y'all like Hardy? How about I'm rednecker than you, rednecker than you? I can hear it back there now. That's it for this video. It's really not that big a deal if you don't get sidetracked like I do. It's easy. A kid can do this. Anybody can install a radio. It's not that hard. Just stick it in. We're going to slide her on in and call it good, and hope it stays right there. It's hitting on the dash everywhere. But you know what? This truck wasn't designed for this radio, so we're going to call it good. Turn it off. It should say goodbye and turn off. We turn it back on. It says welcome. It's not paired. It automatically linked on its own right then. I like it. Let's see. I don't know if I can slide this seat back anymore. I do need to slide the seat back some, but I can't even tell which direction that thing's supposed to go, or if it even moves. So, all right, guys, until the next time, y'all keep ranching, wrenching, and praying. We'll see y'all later.